This video is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, where you can find cool stuff in stock.
Hello, and welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGB, today in the arena with the journey to top 1200 Mythic complete and the season reset. It's time to re-attack the Platinum ladder, and I've got a control deck, shocking, built around a new Mythic card that I just really wanted to play. So let's check it out. It is Sultai, but it's not the Sultai you may have been expecting. It's a little bit of a different Sultai list brewed around the beauty that is Harness Infinity. Harness Infinity is one black, green, instant Mythic. Exchange your hand and graveyard. Exile Harness Infinity. So, like, when I see a card like this, it reminds me of a few, like, classic cards in Magic. Seasons Past comes to mind, and I don't want to play a game where I try to fill my graveyard like I do with, like, an Eerie Ultimatum deck, and then get everything back from the graveyard to the battlefield. I just want to fill my graveyard, like, the classic way. I don't want to mill myself. I just want to cast controlling spells, and stretch the game out, you know, just taking my time. And then at the crucial moment, cast Harness Infinity and grab all these sweet cards from my graveyard into my hand and just play all the greatest hits again. It's like greatest hits of the whatever decade is boomer for you. With Harness Infinity, you bring back all the cards that tortured your opponent and you cast them again. So I decided I really wanted to make it a Yorian deck because, remember, I like Yorian decks, so why not? You can definitely play this as a 60. I did brew a 60 card version, but I play Yorian because I don't like rogues, and I'm going to run Binding the Old Gods anyway. This card is insanely good, and I want to run it all over the place. It helps get mana and set up to pay the mana cost of a very difficult cast card like Harness Infinity. And if I'm going to play Binding, I probably should play Yorian. So it's a Yorian pile. You can definitely trim it down if you want to, but that means Omen of the Sea gets to play as well. And I also found Elspeth's Nightmare like really good in this deck, just because we take away their hand and their graveyard, and then we get back our graveyard. It's pretty fun, and I have found a lot of targets for it, so that helps too. The rest of the deck is a weird collage of various spells that hit the right places at the right time. So if I go over the list, it's going to take a minute, but why not? Clings because Rogues is a deck. That's really the only reason. These lands are actually sweet. We'll get to the fact that we have a card called Solve the Equation. I guess we'll cover that now. Solve the Equation is 2 and a blue to search your library for an instant or sorcery, reveal it, put it into your hand. Rather than crafting the third copy of Harness Infinity, I chose to run a copy of Solve the Equation instead, and I'm really glad because you can cast Solve the Equation to get Harness Infinity, cast Harness Infinity to get back Solve the Equation, and cast Solve the Equation to get another card from your deck, maybe even another Harness Infinity if you really want to go infinity with the infinity. But Solve the Equation can also fetch a variety of answer cards, and we've got all these lands that are also spells in the deck to take up some of the land spots, but you can also fetch them with the equation if you just need to hit a land drop, which isn't completely insane. Valakut Recovery is also a fun one because you can get it back with Infinity, then use that to get back anything you had to discard at end step or something that was in your hand that you didn't want to get rid of. So that's really fun. And then the rest of the deck is just control. I mean, Disdainful Stroke, Negate, Test of Talents. These are things that we do to ultimatum and cycling players to make them miserable. And then the rest is, you know, kill the mono red players stuff. Flunk, Eliminate, Heartless Act, Divide by Zero. I still have a love affair with this card. It's probably going to be in a lot of my piles. I love the fact that you can, by putting a stop on your beginning phase, on your first main phase, you can put the last trigger from a card like Elspeth's Nightmare on the stack and then cast Divide by Zero and return it to your hand and get all the modes again. I use that a lot. So Divide by Zero also giving you access. Basically, it's 2 spells in one. You get this effect, and then you also get cards from the sideboard. So we get to use some of these sweet ones. I've got to Confront the Past to take out opposing planeswalkers, or to keep getting back our Professor Onyx, which is a really fun win con, both through the Magecraft and the -8. And then we have the other win con of the deck, which is 4 copies of Shark Typhoon, which just suck the opponent dry over time. You discard it to make a shark, you Harness Infinity, you get it back, you cast it, you make sharks. Just Shark. A couple more new cards. There's a Baleful Mastery. Baleful Mastery is a pretty fun one that I'm learning a lot of respect for. And Culling Ritual. You haven't seen this one a lot. 2 and a black and a green to destroy each non-land permanent with mana value 2 or less. Add black or green for each permanent destroyed this way. It also blows up your own. So if you have Omen of the Sea, this will blow it up. Just something to keep in mind. But if there's enough little creatures, like the opponent went nuts making a bunch of pests, you can cast Culling Ritual, blow up all their stuff, or treasures. It actually hits treasures too if they forget to sack them for mana first. And then maybe you cast Harness Infinity off the mana from the Culling Ritual. So that's kind of a fun way to do it. Anyway, that's an introduction to the deck. Talking through all the uses of every single card is a lot. This is one of those where it's probably best to see it in action. People will assume when they see Yorian and Sultai that you're playing these Emergent Ultimatum deck, but it's kind of like we have Emergent Ultimatum. It's just instant speed. So it lets us be a more reactive, more controlling deck. It lets us interact with the tap out ramp version of Ultimatum very well as the other creature decks. And then we just cast this big spell and take over. So now that I've introduced the deck, let's dedicate the video. This goes out to a patron this time. $9.99 on Patreon gets you a guaranteed dedication. It may take me a while to get to it, but I do my best. Albert DeJesus, thank you very, very much for being a patron. And also a quick happy birthday to CJ. I got an email. Said you'd enjoy hearing that. So thank you very much for being a fan of the show. CJ, a happy, happy birthday to you. I hope you like that. Most of you found it cringe. That's okay. Let's dive in. Oh wait, dedication. Albert DeJesus on Patreon. This one's for you. We're getting the Baleful Mastery because it's on sale. Let's dive in. Let the nonsense begin. This can be a blue. Funky hand, but a very Yorian hand, and we're up against a Yorian. Let's go. Yorian Showdown. Engage. Yes, take your mulligan. When do I get to get the cosmetic sagas? Why is that so hard for wizards to figure out? I don't know. I can't understand. Oh, what will you scry? Temple of Triumph. That's fresh. I love the little library room. I don't know. I don't know if I said it in enough videos. I love this library room with its kind of, what is it, whimsical little soundtrack. 3 omens in the 80 cards deck. So, our job is to find a counterspell before something terrible happens. Although, this is not the typical Yorian list for sure from our opponent, and we're not the typical Yorian list as well. So I'm going to look for anything that's kind of interacty or obnoxious, like a Shark Typhoon. And now we need land. Solve the equation means we'll have access to an answer card when we need it. Here comes Omen of the Sun, I'm going to predict. Land? All right, I'm going to bottom one of these Shark Typhoons. We need to make sure that the lands keep coming for the rest of the game. Divide by 0. If they play an Omen, we could bounce it and go get the card that lets us fetch a land. That's pretty good. It's also kind of interesting that Solve the Equation can get an MDFC. Oh, no Omen? Awkward. All right. But yeah, it can go get one of the land spells so that we hit another land drop if we really want to. Man, our opponent does play blue. That's kind of a bummer to me. I was enjoying the idea of my 7-mana spell resolving. Now I don't know if it will. Wow, we are going to miss a land after all this. We could try to solve the equation to hit it. That's a play we could make. I don't think that's particularly effective, though, or good. Let's run out the Nightmare. Let's try to get into the opponent's hand here. That resolves. Opponent's still not taking action. They didn't buy Yorian either, and it wouldn't have made them overdraw their hand. They must have something. Is that 76 cards in their deck? Wow. They run over 80 cards. And they just played a dragon. What is going on? Okay. They can't test of talents the binding. This is a very powerful card that is scary. You may copy it. Oh my goodness. And then this can also be hit by something like a binding, but I don't have a great answer for it in my hand. Which of these cards needs to be removed? I think I want them to cast this and I Disdainful Stroke it. They can't do it next turn though without topping a land. But if they top an untapped land, they can. Oh man. Maybe I don't kill this dragon. We're also missing a land drop again. This is dicey. Because if I play this and then if they get this down, they just draw a billion cards. I think I've got to take the Whirlwind. Oh baby. Oh no. We might get ultimatumed. That'll be bad, but it won't be game over. It's their whole turn. What are they going to do? Fire Prophecy to dig for a land? If they sacrifice the treasure, they can't... Okay, it does make another treasure. Never mind. I was going to say they won't be able to ultimatum, but... They still can. Don't ultimatum me. Buy that Yorian. There we go. There we go. Love it. My goodness. I cannot get lands. We'll do it the hard way. We'll just fetch this out of the deck. So be it. And now I think I just say go. We need the Disdainful Stroke available. Divide by 0. We can play it and get back the binding. So they have Test of Talents open. But I can send that back with the Divide, but I don't have enough mana to do both. So if this hits the battlefield... Wait a minute, this is only good for 1. They don't have the dragon anymore. I can counter this if I want to. Do I want to, though? This is a tough call. I mean, maybe I'm just better off rebuying the binding. To help me fix my land drops. We could have also grabbed Confront the Past and saved the binding, but I want to get the binding down again. They miss land. This game has been pretty much defined by how hard it is for both of us to hit lands. But it's making for quite the weird back and forth, where we don't know whether to be active or reactive. We're just kind of taking turns throwing haymakers at each other, or dealing with theirs, or whatever you want to call it. Okay. Now what? All these cards. Let's try to get the Test of Talents from our opponent with another Nightmare. And we are exploiting the weakness of Test of Talents. It only hits instants. So we keep playing these sagas and the opponent's like, not much I can do. Yorian with nothing to blink. Tragic. So if we go for the Heartless Act here, the opponent can sack their treasure to test it. If they get rid of Heartless Act, though, I'm not very depressed. Or we could buy the binding again, but they could get rid of these, which I think I'd be more depressed about that. Yeah, let's see if they want to use a treasure here to defend the Heartless Act. I think it's a pretty good play if they want to sacrifice this and let the shields completely down. And they don't. They're scared. They think we're an ultimatum deck, even though we don't play the ultimatum. You gotta love that. Alright, they have 2 inspired ultimatums in hand, a draconic intervention. They got rid of the Test of Talents. So they must have put it on the bottom with the prophecy, thinking I'd play around it for the rest of the game anyway. Let's go ahead and take this. Read this card again. It's when you cast. Okay, they can't copy my things. We can divide the Nightmare by 0 and set it up to take their Inspired Ultimatum, but then they might get to cast the Ultimatum. So once again, we're in another weird spot where I've got 7 cards. Do I want to play any of them? I do think I just hit my land drop with this Solve the Equation, which is so weird. It's weird. All right, so what's the spell that's the least likely to be useful if I draw it later? The Recovery, the Predation, the Disruption, for sure. Oh, we got an interesting game to start things off today. I love it. All right, so they don't have a counter and they're not casting Ultimatum. We can play Divide by 0. We can get back the Nightmare. We can also get back an Omen, but Nightmare is doing good work. Nightmare is doing some real good work. I could go after that treasure. Nah. Negate. Finding the counter spells. So now they have to go for this, which means we're going to counter it, which means that's all of their mana, which means we can use Introduction to Prophecy right now. And we found lands. Oh my gosh, we found lands. Let's go. When the opponent taps out here to go for Ultimatum and we counter it, we can then untap by Yorian. Oh my goodness. I know, we have Harness Infinity with a great graveyard too, but without hitting lands, we haven't been able to unload our hand. All right, whenever you cast your next instant or sorcery, copy it. Wait, they have enough to do that? Yes, they do. Yes, they do. I missed that. Let's see if we can get them to hold it here. Yeah. They're not going to hold it, right? They're going to play it. But, hey, we get another card from them, and then we get to Yorian, so it's not even... I don't think we're even that bad off. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we will be able to hold up Disdainful Stroke, buy Yorian, and play Yorian. Let's see what cards you hit. Alrund's Epiphany. That is something. Let's take the Negate. Come here, buddy. Yorian! Make sure there's blue in there being open. Okay. Wreck 'em. If they go for the Alrund's Epiphany, we will destroy them with the power of Disdainful Stroke. Yes. And then we're getting really close to harnessing Infinity just to get back the counter spells. It's a lot of land. We knew it was in the deck somewhere, didn't we? It is a pretty cool Jeskai Spells Teach by Example themed deck, it appears. Ooh, we're foretelling. They're hiding it from me. They're hiding it to wait. And now they go to kill the Yorian, which is fine. We'll get it back. Show me this hand. The Doomscar, the Draconic Intervention, the Fire Prophecy. I don't know. I guess I can take this one because it hits Planeswalkers and we might find our Liliana. And then what? It might be Shark Typhoon time. You guys want it, don't you? I can hear the internet. I can hear their energy. I can feel it. Boom. We have a hard cast Shark Typhoon. And soon we will harness infinity. We will harness infinity itself. I mean, it's not doing anything. But that's fine. No big deal. Have you had enough pain? Come on, let me do the thing. Let me do the thing. Yep, that works. Trigger, trigger. Out of there. All right, play our land first. We're gonna have to discard so many cards if we do it now. But if we do it on our opponent's turn, they might have a counter. Let's go. Do it. Oh. All right, now we get to build our perfect hand. How do we want to do it? Okay then. Okay. What would we have done? I'd have probably played a Nightmare, kept everything that was like a counterspell, and the Yorian. And yeah, that's about it. All right, rogues, and they're on the play. Gross. Maybe it's mono black, that would be nice, or Rakdos, but it's probably rogues. The good news is we have Test of Talents for their Into the Story, Heartless Act, and Mastery for their first couple creatures. We can keep the hand. The mana's okay. We'll want to find Cling to Freaking Dust. A tapped land. No, not a 6-drop. Okay. Okay. Opponent with no plays. You love to see it. I'm ready. Bring it on down. Kill it. Kill it now. Scry one to the top. No crabs. Nice. So, we only really want one blue mana sitting around because Harness the Infinite requires 3 black and 3 green. So if you don't have a Triome, you really only want the 1 blue. They did keep on top. Is there a reason not to kill this and just hit it with Divide instead? If we hit it with Divide, then we almost for sure have our next land drop. So let's hit it with Divide. And we'll grab this, just in case we miss our next land. And then we still Heartless Act their Thought Thief. Although they might have Drown now because they did scry to the top. Okay. You don't have the guts to counter that. Knew it. Double black, so more green, I guess? Although if we have another blue here, we have all of our options available. I'm going to take the blue. I'm going to assume that we don't get to cast Harness Infinity anytime soon. That we're going to have more than 7 lands when the time comes. So last time, during our end step, we cast the removal spell on the Thought Thief. This time, we go for it on our opponent's upkeep because they have 2 open mana. And Heartless Act because it doesn't have counters, and Eliminate hits every creature in their deck anyway. but Call the Death Dweller is something that gets around Heartless Act. 4 cards in the graveyard. Of One Mind at full price. Love it. Yeah, you pay that cost. Ooh, okay, let's see if we can hit a land drop here. Maybe 2? 2. Alright, no use for 3 mana this turn unless we were to buy Yorian. Let's keep on top. Let's try to defend the top of our library, but that's really hard against rogues. Alright, there is a stick. They've got something. What do you got? Which rogue do you have? Darn it. Okay. They are tapped low, though. Let's go ahead and get rid of it. Maybe that was a bad idea, because now they can untap and cast Into the Story. Crap. My bad. My bad, y'all. Not my finest hour. Alright, so they're not going to do anything. Like, they might cast another Into the Story here, but then they're just way too many cards. I'll just buy this Yorian, since they can't pressure me this turn. Come on, mill my Cling to Dusts. Let's go. Let's go. Here come the nerds. No land drop. Okay, these are all spells. This is going to be a rough one. Let's start drawing out their Drown in the Locks and such. At least they had to pay a lot for that. Cling? I'm going to start calling for Cling every single mill now. Cling. So we do have 7 mana, but we can't cast Harness Infinity because of the 2 blue. So we have to play this on black. And you go for this. Yorian! The opponent goes for Drown. We're going to Test of Talents it. Oh, man. They're too big brain, guys. They're too big brain. Let's see if they also have Mystical Dispute on top of that. Nope. But let's look at this hand. Heartless Act, Thieves Guild Enforcer, Eliminate, Eliminate. Nice. And in the deck, we have a Didn't Say Please, a Mystical Dispute. Yeah. What an adventurous... 2 Mystical Disputes. Wow. Definitely a tough matchup. What an adventurous opponent. But on the bright side, right now they do not. Right now they do not have another counter. And we have Harness Infinity. I mean, you're just going to play the Enforcer, so I don't know what you're waiting for. I guess to see if I leave anything on top with the Scries. If I go 2 top, they play the Enforcer. That's actually pretty smart. I like that. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's keep a Binding. Let's keep an Event and a Typhoon. They're going to mill one of these, but we're going to get it back. Let's keep the Event. There's the Cling. But we also have the Harness. And we know that their counter shields are low, if not down. They buy Lurie. Okay, they're not going to counter anything here, but they are going to draw some cards. They're feeling strong. And then Luris comes down. Yep, Windrobbies. Windrobbies. Unfortunately, I can't cling both of them. All right, come on, give me priority just for a second. Do it. Let's go. Rats. All right. Mastery your Luris. Try to exile it for good. See if you drew a counter. Gone. They also didn't kill their own Luris to keep it in the graveyard, which makes me think they might have something sneaky here. I'm not sure what. Also that pause, like what are they thinking about there? Go for it. Go for Into the Story. Okay, they cycle a Triome. Is now the time? Is now the time? Not yet. Of course. Oh, you know what? Nah, we'll get them later. Trust me. I has tricks. We'll see about that, right? $42 cards. All right, what don't we need back? We don't need this. And we don't need this. Or these. And again. Yeah, they have a hand that's just loaded with removal, don't they? That's thin. Still 40 cards to go. Feeling all right. Divide by 0. I will destroy your Wind Robber. I will divide my Omen by 0. It's a card draw effect. You'll love it. We'll try to get back Liliana. It'll be fun. We gotta draw out their counter spells. These are good cards. I know that it seems like they have a ton of mana. It's not as much as you might think. All right, trim the graveyard a little bit more. We got to put it in range so that we can counter a Drown in the lock. So what card getting back would be best? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then 1, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess if they counter Harness Infinity, that's the best thing to get back, right? But let's make them work for it. Let's get the Nightmare. That's a pretty fun card. Drown in the Lock. All right, so we can take 6 cards out of our graveyard, which isn't enough here, so that resolves. Let's try to get Professor Onyx. I might go for a Mystical Dispute here because it's kind of a good-looking one. Yep. They have 3 mana, so we don't dispute back. 2 counters down. How many more do you have? Uh-oh, they're touching the graveyard. Do they find an Agadeem's? It's a mana-intensive play. But we did exile their Lurrus, and they only get 2 things. So here they are. And they have 3 mana open. I think that means this resolves. Because, let's see, if we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then they counter it, and we dispute it, and they counter the dispute, we pay. Hand me my graveyard, please. What you got? Didn't say please. I will Mystical Dispute that, and now I get back the Mystical Dispute. Thank you. I am happy. All right, let's play this. Away with you. How about land? Can we play a land? We played a land for turn? Okay. We have some clings, we have some open mana. Let's use a non-blue source. Actually, we can hold up negate here too. So let's just Control Z that and go to end step. Now, what are we going to discard? It helps when you have a Giga hand that you separate like the things that you plan to discard ahead of time. So like I don't need Divide by 0, I don't need land, I don't need Cling like in my hand, although keeping 1 might be good here. We can keep the other Harness to Infinity. I don't need a Binding. I don't need this. Heartless Act is pretty good. I probably don't need one of the Typhoons. I'll take the Yorian. Maybe I don't need any of the Typhoons. We have the Recovery and another Infinity after all. We can get these things later. Let's put Confront the Past over there. We don't need the Professor. All right, end turn. Let's see how it goes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I know Mystical Dispute doesn't look great, but these decks tend to spend a lot of mana all in one turn. And I like the Heartless Act, and I like the Infinity. I guess I will drop the other Cling. Gotta hand it to the opponent. They let me draw a million cards, and then didn't give up. They want to play. I'm down. If we say go, so if we try to make a play there, they might resolve an into the story. If we say go, we get to attack their hand with the Nightmare. 2 crabs. They're waiting for a land. What a little sneaky bugger. And that's a 3/2. Easy Heartless Act. But we don't have to. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, guys. Okay. I see the error of my ways. I was wrong. You were right. You're the best. I'm the worst. You're all very good looking. I'm not attractive. We'll get the Typhoon back and hard cast it because we know our opponent's out of counter spells. And I could have done that for 3 mana cheaper if I'd have kept a Shark Typhoon. All right. You got me. I'm down to 27 cards. Attacks right into it. I guess you're going to use Eliminate on some of the sharks. Yeah, we can go for this. What are the cards we don't need? Might as well gain life. All right, draw. Trigger on the stack. Let's go after this Thieves Guild Enforcer to get it exiled. And your graveyard be gone. Love it. So now what? Do we Yorian? Seems like a good time for a Yorian. Opponent doesn't even have a way to kill it right this minute. Sure, another binding is fun. What else? Another omen? Why not? They make sharks now. I don't know if you heard. Yeah, you drew a land. Let's go. Let's go. More cards for me. And it's a Fabled Passage. Okay, it's a chunk. It does a lot. Meow. Let's go. Let's freaking go. Yep, sack that now. I guess they still have the passage available, so they can refill the graveyard, kinda, but I'll take all these. Rogue's still fighting, my goodness. Alright, 17 cards. Mill. 11. Is that card an into the story? Let's see it. It always is, right? Nope, we're going eliminating. How to do it. This is pretty good. Goodbye, sharks. And crabs. Goodbye, sea creatures of all kinds. Alright, so what do you think that card is? I think it's a land. More shark. What do we discard? Don't need you. Don't need you. I mean, a lot of these are pretty good. Don't need these. 4 out of 8? Oh no, this is going to be hard. Alright, don't need you. Don't need you. Another, yeah, divide can go. 7. One more. Alright, I'll let the mastery go. Don't need to draw extra cards. It would make a 1/1. I don't need it. More Typhoon? And we'll grab a Test of Talents. Seems like a good Sharknado. All right. 9 cards to go. Aren't you glad, like, moments like these, you like being a Yorian deck, right? Aren't you just a little grateful that this is a Yorian deck? Uh-huh. Yep. Get out. Whack. I faced Yorian, I faced Rogues. How about an aggro deck? Oh, we're on the draw, so it must be an aggro deck. Lock that in. Extinction Event, I think, makes it a keep. Oh, yay. It's mono red. This is mono red. They play mono red. All right, can I draw a nice 2-drop? A little 2-drop play? Please? Please? Okay, that wasn't it. That's not it either. You'll love to see it. All right, so how do I get there? If they have the Annex as well. All right, double robber. So we need to try to Shark Typhoon block the monitor, which probably won't work because they'll probably have like a Frostbite. Still nothing in the graveyard either. I should have passaged on turn 1 just so I had something to hit with this Cling. That was a mistake. All right, play a Torbrand? No. How about Embercleave, eh? Eh? Mystical Dispute. Okay. Well, Culling Ritual. That's not bad. It's not going to beat an Embercleave, though. Embercleave. No Embercleave. That's exciting. You're telling me there's a chance. Oh my. All right. So the Ritual does what? Makes 2 mana. What do I do with the mana? I can exile this. Having the variety of threats is pretty frustrating. Let's gain some life. And hope the opponent plays another odd creature here and doesn't kill me. Every turn is a borrowed time turn because of Embercleave. That is odd. That is 5 life. And their last card, is it like Frostbite? We can hope so. Just don't be an even creature. Don't be a Rimrock Knight, you know? Okay, down to 3. I'm feeling the pressure. Ooh, the pressure. Bonesaw's ready. CGB coming in. Yeah, dig it. All right, Professor Onyx, you're going to come down and save me here. That's what you're going to do right here. Oh, no. Oh, no. They're drawing too well. Drawing too well. This is too close. This is too close. All right, get rid of the giant. Don't draw lethal. Oh my goodness, down to 1. They have to kill Professor Onyx too. Yeah, they do have to go after Onyx, or else the Magecraft triggers get me the life back. So maybe they do that, but they have to choose. They go face? Oh, mono red. And we go to 1 by activating Onyx here. But then we go back up to 3. Solve the Equation can get a tapped land. That's not great. Cling to Dust can't be cast until we get something else in our yard. I guess we can also cycle Shark Typhoon. Oh my gosh. All right, we might also hit a land off Professor Onyx here. Wait, that says 0? I just did that, didn't I? I just did that. I needed to cast this first, and I knew that. Why did I do this? Why did I do this?
There has to be an answer.
I had that. No. My finest hour. My darkest despair. I gotta wipe that off. That can't be the last you see of me today. It just can't be. Why am I on the draw? No! Against Aggro, we have Extinction Event. I guess we have to find black mana, but we might not do anything for 2 turns. Solve the Equation might be too slow. I mean, I'm just really optimistic that the Omen and the Extinction Event fix my problems, and they might not. Oh, man. Oh, God, that's... I'm haunted. I am so haunted. It's not like I don't know what the cards do. It's just that sometimes I know exactly what to do, and then my mouse hand just takes over and does something stupid anyway. And it's so frustrating. And I do it in front of the world, and that's sad. That makes me very sad. I'm sorry you guys have to see me like this. Anyway, Professor of Simbibla. You don't like the way I pronounce it? Lots of channels on the internet. The opponent fetched Environmental Sciences. Redain. Okay, that's a frustrating one. Black? It's black mana or bust here. We could also keep Stroke for a Winota. But I think it's black mana or bust. Awesome. Awesome. We will not have it. We could solve the equation and go find a tapped one, but that's not good enough. And now we get Vinotad, don't we? Okay, they need the land. We get a shot next turn. Like, if we Heartless Act or Baleful Mastery, whatever the thing is, we still have to somehow clear this Redain. Alright, 14. Passage. Passage can be another black, which we can use to cast a Cling to Dust, so let's go. Stay alive. Okay. It's a lot of even critters. Cast that Environmental Sciences. Okay. You're telling me there's a chance if I don't mess this one up like last time. That's a frustrating one. Can rebuild very quickly. We could exile it here with the Mastery. I want black no matter what, but the decision here is to exile this Usher and leave the opponent with an empty board with the Extinction Event, or we let them have that Usher, which gets them 2 more damage next turn and makes another 1/1. Empty board. We'll see how well they rebuild here. With Solve the Equation, we can get another Extinction event or a Shadow's Verdict eventually, but we need to make sure we get there. Okay. That's a lot of Professor Nananas. It's a lot of value you're fetching. Yeah, reduce to memory, that doesn't scare me. Like, what are they going to reduce? Yorian? I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Skyclave Apparition. Oh, nice. I get a 2/2. That's a draw. Green, green. This would be the... Yeah, let's get another green. All right, we can buy the Yorian or we can solve the frickin' equation. I think with the Nightmare and the Omen here, we buy the Yorian. We'll see if that comes back to haunt me. There's Winota. Let's see what the opponent hits with the Professor here, but we get a trade. No, we don't. We could also go to 2. They do run Bone Crusher Giant, but we have Cling. What does next turn look like? We blink this, kill this, and then we have a 4/5 facing the Winota, and an Eliminate for the Historian if we draw the land. It's not ideal. And they might just hit another... Oh, man. Yeah, I think I have to absorb this damage while I can, as bad as this feels. And they have an Alseed? Okay. I should have solved the equation for a Verdict or something. Another Historian in hand. How do we get out of this? Well, I think this has to happen. And then we can eliminate another small creature here. Kill off the trigger for the Winota. Keep Flunk and Divide by 0. Those are necessary. We have to block the Winota with our Yorian and go to 2. Okay. What will they take? A lot of interesting options here. I'm guessing they'll take the Flunk because it's cheap. But we'll see. Solve the equation. Okay. That was the thing that was, I think, the hardest to make work. So... I'm kind of into that choice. Now, let's see if they learn here, because whatever they learn gets taken by the Nightmare. So they're might be better off just picking something bad. Okay. So we can definitely live. We have to watch out for another Blade Historian. We have to be able to cast Cling to Dust. We have to cast this on one of their creatures. I think we're flunking the Spellbinder, dividing the Historian, and then clinging, and we go to 1. Okay, they didn't play another Historian. Awesome. How do we gain life and get back in this game? Or, I mean, does casting Mascot Exhibition help us? It might, right? Think so. So they replay a Blade Historian. We play an Exhibition. We have a number of blockers. Their attackers have double strike, but they don't have trample. All right, Graveyard exiled. Exhibition. We still have a solve the equation, but right now it can get a 3. That's not great. And we only have 3 life, and their graveyard got exiled, so we can't hit it with Cling for more life. We do have a Yorian in our graveyard that can gain life. Really? Really? So this would deal, let's see, let's think it through. This deals 2, then this deals 3? Yes. So this would kill it. This deals 2, then one of these would deal 2 or 1, so it would kill it. Am I missing something? Maybe I don't know how to math with the shield? Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Let's go get our favorite card. Drawing that Heartless Act freed us up to go get Harness Infinity. We do have to watch out for the shield. We have to pay 1, but we have 3. 3 life, man. Whoo! Come on now. Stick with it. If a source would deal damage, that -1. Whenever you or another permanent you control become the target of a spell or ability, counter that unless its controller pays 1. What do you nose in my graveyard for? What do you do with the graveyard? You just trust me. If I cast this, I have it all. Just trust me. Yeah. Okay, that was a good palate cleanser. I feel better. And we are back for the post-game wrap, and it did well, man. I like this deck a lot, with the only loss being one I might have lost anyway, but really just threw. That was like an all-time throw to mono red. I hope you enjoyed it. When I keep in embarrassing plays like that, I do get crap for it for 24 hours. I appreciate all of you who kind of make it playful teasing and not, oh my god, you suck, you're the worst YouTuber in the history of the world. So every time I leave that in, I know what I'm signing up for, but I also know that there's a percentage of you that enjoy it. So my tragic, horrible, embarrassing misplay gift from me to you. You're welcome, I guess. What would I change about the deck? I don't know if Culling Ritual cuts it, but I'm willing to keep giving it a few more tries. Extinction Event is Extinction Event. It does the work. The mana was a little bit tricky, but I don't know if there's much I'd do to change that. Honestly, if I were to play this deck for 10 more games, I wouldn't change a thing yet. The numbers are obviously all over the place, and control decks are always hard to get perfectly, but I like this the way that it is, and I would encourage you to try it out, but there's also a lot of room to season to taste, and I think that is a very potentially powerful deck here, and I think that Harness Infinity is a really sweet card, and I think this is a really cool way to play it. So I do that. This probably isn't going to be a tier 1 deck, but like with mastery and with kind of effort and focus, you could probably get to Mythic running this deck. I feel like I could keep playing this deck for another week and I'd have a really good time. So strongly recommended to my control fans out there who want to do more than just cast an Emergent Ultimatum, maybe want to counter the opponent's stuff a little bit and take over with a million cards in hand instead of insanely broken sorceries. Thank you for watching this video. As always, I will see you in the next video. You're cool.